What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a quick podcast segment on a few topics and MMA news. One of them is going to be Rory MacDonald, the Red King, retiring from MMA. Kind of an end of an era. I've been watching Rory fight forever. Saw when he first entered the sport. It's crazy that he just retired. Feels really weird. The other topics I want to talk about are Chito Vera calling Dominick's style low level. Interesting comments. And the last topic is Dana White, in a recent media scrum, basically stated that he's not bumping up fighter pay, that these guys get paid what they're supposed to get paid. Alright, so let's get into this. First, let's start with Rory MacDonald retiring. Now, Rory in his last fight suffered a brutal stoppage loss to Delano Taylor in the first round, 359 of the PFL welterweight semifinals. It was a brutal knockout, brutal TKO. Okay, so to put some things in perspective, out of Rory's last 8 fights, he's won 3 times. In his last 5 fights, he's won once. He suffered 2 back-to-back losses to Gleison Tebow, Ray Cooper III, beat Brett Cooper, then another string of back-to-back losses, and that last one again was a bad TKO. Rory ended his mixed martial arts career with a record of 23 wins, 10 losses, 1 draw. 7 wins by KO TKO, 9 wins via submission. Those are his finishes. 7 wins via decision. Let me drop some of the names that Rory MacDonald has competed against, won, and lost to. Carlos Condit, Nate Diaz, Mike Pyle, V.I.P.N, Jake Ellenberger, Robbie Lawler, Damian Maia, Tyron Woodley, Tariq Safardine, Stephen Thompson, Paul Daly, Douglas Lima, Gegard Mousasi, John Fitch, Neiman Gracie. Some of Rory's accolades. Well, Rory was the Bellator welterweight champ. He competed for the UFC welterweight championship. He was the King of the Cage lightweight champ. The organizations that Rory competed in: you got Extreme Fighting Challenge, King of the Cage, the UFC, Bellator, and of course PFL. Rory is a black belt in BJJ, of course a product of TriStar Gym, close training partner of GSP. When Rory first entered this scene, I remember he was highly touted by GSP. GSP thought he was going to be the next big thing and dominate for years to come. That's how much confidence GSP had in Rory's game. Rory, as far as a fighter, well-rounded. Didn't come in as a specialist. He was one of the new breed of true mixed martial artists. Pretty much learned the game from the ground up. Solid technical striking, high fight IQ, tough as nails. I would say at his peak, a damn great chin. Just check out those wars with Robbie Lawler. Very dominant grappling, technical there as well. Strong for the division. Rory was a killer, man. Rory was a killer when he was on point. Now, I don't know how he performed in the gym compared to how he performed under the bright lights, but a common thing is some guys are better in the gym. Now, think about that with Rory. That may have been the case with him. Did Rory reach his full potential? You could read stories out there, comments from people of how damn good Rory MacDonald is. Sometimes we don't see somebody's best out there under the bright lights for whatever reason. Could be nerves, could be the pressure, could be overthinking, but that happens. Even still, Rory MacDonald hit some pretty great heights. I mean, fighting for the UFC welterweight championship is amazing. Basically, you're second best in the world. He's been a champ in other organizations, has fought a who's who. In his retirement post, he kind of touched on his growth as a human being due to mixed martial arts, discovering himself, testing himself. What a journey. And as I kind of touched on earlier, it's strange to see Rory come in and leave now. He's 33 years old. That's still young. And maybe his retirement isn't forever. Who knows? He's still a young man. Sometimes guys get that itch. They more than hang with these youngsters in the gym with champs. And they say, hey, you know what? I still got it. I'm going to come back for one more. Maybe that happens. But Rory strikes me as a man of principle. He seems very intelligent, seems like he thinks things out, and I think he knows that it's time to hang it up, especially with that last loss. He's married, he has a family, people to look after. He's going to need his brain cells. Sometimes enough is enough. You don't have the fire anymore to put your body through that, through the grueling training day in and day out, week in and week out, the physical stress, the mental stress. Mixed martial arts is not for everyone. A select group. Stick it out, stay involved with the sport, let alone turn pro and reach the heights that Rory has. He can hold his head up high. I want to personally thank him for all the entertaining fights, for the inspiration. The guy was a warrior and a savage. Never involved in anything shady, any misconduct. No PEDs to my understanding, clean fighter. How could you not respect that? Rory MacDonald, once again, thank you so much. I hope you stay involved in the sport in some capacity, whether it be coaching, working corners, opening your own facility. Chris Lieben did that. I think that's a great idea. I think it's smart of him to close this chapter of his life and move on to greater things. And like I said, who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day we'll see the Red King come back for one more. Personally, I think it's the right time for him to hang it up. Happy retirement, Rory MacDonald. Alright, let's talk about Chito Vera's comments against Dominick Cruz, saying that his style is pretty low level, basically for the competition of today. Honestly, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I don't think anybody is doing anything today that is so extraordinary in the bantamweight division. Because think about Dom's skill set and style, what he brings to the table. He has effective striking, he can be technical, he can brawl, he has wrestling ability, offensively and defensively, great footwork, high fight IQ. Dom, I believe, always had a great chin, but he was hard to hit. The chin might be weakening now, but at his best he had a great chin. He was quick, had explosiveness to him, very crafty, tough as nails, tenacious, heart and mind of a champion. Now you tell me, anybody out there bringing all that to the table and then some? You know what I really think the problem is? Dom's style has been figured out. His style has been figured out. He's been in a lot of wars. He's 37 years old. Been there, done that. Chito Vera is fresh. He's like the new kid on the block. I don't necessarily think that Chito Vera brings more to the table than Dom. He just has a different style, different skill set. Not necessarily better. Chito's entitled to speak his mind. It's his opinion. But I disagree. I don't think Dom is low level at all. Compared to the landscape of today, he was arguably winning that fight. Matter of fact, I think by points and stats he was against Chito Vera. Now you can say that Chito Vera was biding his time, which I think he was. But nevertheless, he was losing that fight. Dom just has some bad habits. They worked for him before. He was confusing to people, similar to like Lyoto Machida. And guys get figured out. That ducking, that swing from side to side, it caught up to him. It's been time before. Chito Vera saw an opening in his fight with him, took his shot, landed, got Dom out of there. So in short, no, I don't believe that Dom's style is low level at all. I think he's still got some fights left in him. I don't think he has anything left to prove. I don't really want to see his legacy tarnished, going on a string of losses. Might be best if Dom walks away, multi-time champ. I think one of the greatest to ever do it in the sport. I don't think anybody would argue that. But once again, Chito's entitled to his opinion. It is what it is with that. I disagree. Now, Dana White doesn't want to increase fighter pay overall. What are my thoughts on that? Well, to my understanding, Dana's stance is you get what you put in. If you put butts in seats, if you're exciting, if you fight your ass off, if you don't duck opponents, if you have a personality, if people are attracted to you, you're going to make money. And of course, if you win fights in a spectacular fashion. If you're not doing all that and you're just coming in, why should you make a boatload of money? Now, the UFC makes a lot of money yearly, but I'm not privy to their business ledgers, their finances, their budgeting. it costs money to run a business. And to run a business as large as the UFC, it costs a lot of money. A lot of money and a lot of planning. MMA is not boxing. The top boxers get paid a lot more money compared to the top mixed martial artists. That's a fact. But the lower level boxers, comparatively, I don't think there's a big difference. Those guys are scrounging for money. They don't get paid anything. You have to be a big name in boxing to make a lot of money. The UFC has made a lot of millionaires. Honestly, do I believe these guys deserve more money in general? Yes. But again, who am I to say what they should pay fighters? Some of these guys getting paid $12K to show, $12K to win, whatever it is, something around that range. It is kind of crazy to me. I mean, I feel like if you make it to the UFC, at minimum, you should be like making 25, 30K out the gate just to fight. Even in the prelims, you made it to the UFC. It's the premier organization. These guys don't have medical insurance. They have to split their earnings between managers, training expenses, food, travel, equipment, gear. It goes, not to mention taxes. But I like to be objective. I like to look at both sides of the fence. I understand where Dana's coming from. You can't be unrealistic with fighter pay. Not everybody should be making $100,000 per fight, $250 per fight, $500K, $1 million per fight. There has to be an incentive to make that kind of money. Again, you have to put butts in seats. You have to make the public care about your fights, care about you. Some of that is personality, the gift of gab on the mic, performing well, wins, how you're winning. All of that plays a factor into your pay and contracts. So yeah, guys should have to work for it. But if I'm being truthful, yes, I think guys need higher base pay. But again, none of us are looking at their books. We don't know what's going on, whether they actually are making profits, whether they're on the line, what they need to do to grow, where they got to put their resources. We're just on the outside looking in. But that's going to wrap up this segment, guys. You let me know in the comments section, what do you feel about these topics? Rory retiring, Chito Vera's comments on Dominick Cruz's style, and UFC fighter pay. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. If this is your first time at the channel and you enjoy the content, consider hitting that subscribe button. Appreciate that. Like and share to show support. Thanks for watching and listening again, and I'll catch you guys on the next segment. Until then, everybody, please stay safe. Take care.